Hi, Max Brantley on Thursday, September 29th, Arkansas Times News. Today it's fall. Boy, did I have a great walk this morning. 55 degrees, dry, sunny. It was great to be alive. Now let's get on to the bad news. Well, maybe not bad news. I learned this morning from the state capitol that there's going to be another run at trying to protect money for regional mental health centers. You may remember last week the Legislative Council signed off on a proposal favored by the Hutchinson administration to cut severely the amount of money given for group therapy and other treatment to people in residential mental health facilities. The centers say this will put them out of business. They say the formula needs to be changed, but it doesn't need to be cut this much. They've apparently lobbied legislators sufficiently to get a revote on that issue Friday. They think they have enough votes to pass it, but get enough people in the seats is sometimes hard to see. It remains to be seen what happens in the interim for mental health services other than throwing them out on the streets if this plan does go through immediately. Big local news in Little Rock today. Prosecuting attorney Larry Jegley reviewed the video of police arrest of civil rights attorney John Walker and his colleague Omabi Shakur and decided they simply could not prove a case of obstruction of governmental operations against these two lawyers. John Walker, you may remember, was filming from across the street a fairly routine police arrest. His associate Shakur came up later and walked in front of a police car in a very non-threatening fashion. The police were loaded for bear. They'd gone across the street to start an argument with Walker. I think everybody was bothered how the police escalated rather than de-escalated this situation. Jegley said he simply couldn't find that the facts fit the crime, and he's had both those charges dismissed. There's going to be a press conference this afternoon from those arrested. I think we may yet see a lawsuit. I believe Police Chief Kenton Buckner is not happy about this. He had wanted the prosecution to go forward on Walker's associate, although he'd withdrawn the charge against Walker and apologized to him for that. There'll be a lot of strong feelings on this in the days ahead. You can be sure John Walker does tend to encourage that. Huge news yesterday from the Obama administration, more lawmaking through regulation. A federal regulatory agency has said it's going to ban nursing homes from requiring patients who are paid for by federal money, generally Medicaid, but also Medicare in sometimes circumstances, to be forced to resolve disputes over treatment through arbitration rather than being able to go to court. Arbitration is much cheaper for the nursing homes, much harder to win big sustainable claims. Nursing homes will be happy. The courts in Arkansas have favored arbitration contracts generally. The Arkansas Supreme Court particularly, which is full of justices who receive huge sums of money for the nursing home industry and are sitting right now on a case on whether they're going to allow on the ballot amendment that would make it just about impossible to sue nursing homes. We have one justice, for example, Rhonda Wood, who got more than half of her money for nursing homes the last time she ran for Supreme Court. She doesn't think she has a conflict of interest, although one seems obviously apparent. State Senator David Barnett, a Democrat, has been busy amending his campaign finance reports. He apparently took money from corporate interests. You're not supposed to do that. He said, oh, they're just farmers and that's more convenient. Too bad you can't take corporate money no matter what the excuse. Little Rock police are investigating another homicide. They found a body at 26 and Elm late last night. He'd been shot in the face. Gilbert Baker, the state senator, former Republican and big-time lobbyist and bundler of money for many candidates, it turns out that when he was arrested for DWI, he not only had an impermissible alcohol level in his blood, he also had methamphetamine. That came out in a toxicology report released yesterday. There will be a Senate debate on Friday in Little Rock between Connor Eldridge, the Democrat, and Frank Gilbert, the Libertarian. John Bozeman, the Republican incumbent, has been invited, but he's dodging these things and not even responding to invitations. Interestingly, this debate was scheduled for at Philander Smith College. Apparently some pressure was supplied on Philander Smith. It's now going to be at Arkansas Baptist College. Greg O'Neill of Channel 11 will still do the moderating. Tom Cotton, you've heard of our senator. He knows everything about everything if you follow him at all. Well, today he's been busy on Twitter touting a piece he wrote for the Wall Street Journal about immigration policies in Sweden. Yes, there really isn't anything in the world Tom Cotton doesn't know everything about. The Swedes just are too stupid compared to the Norwegians in dealing with immigrants. The funny thing is there's an Arkansan who follows the Swedish news, and he provided to me some very interesting links, including an op-ed from somebody in Sweden who knows the little situation better, who makes fun of people who drop into Sweden for a day or two and decide they know better than the Swedes what to do. Things are working pretty well in Sweden, which you may remember has quite a reputation for taking in people in need. People in Dardanelle like Tom Cotton, maybe not so much. And finally, a wardrobe note. My shirt today, it's from a Rochester Big and Tall Boys shop. The dots on the shirt there from a wonderful lunch at the corner, a fine salad of prosciutto, spring greens, squash, and onions, and a little vinaigrette. You might see a few drops of there. That's it for me today. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.